Hey everybody, my name's Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop games with friends, particularly RPGs. So this is part of Gauntlet Comics. Gauntlet Comics is a living campaign with multiple GMs who are running all kinds of different tabletop RPGs and have been so for now about a year and a half. We have a shared setting, which is New Gauntlet City. And we pretend that Gauntlet Comics is like an imprint of a comic book publishing company, which allows us to tell all kinds of different types of stories, just like, Image or Marvel or DC. And we share characters back and forth, heroes, villains. We have different eras that are going on. This is part of our first time that we're trying this thing where multiple GMs are running a summertime crossover event because that's the thing that comics do. So why not us? The idea behind the summertime crossover is that the Gauntleteer is the first superhero of New Gauntlet City. And back in the 30s, 40s, whoever you ask will give you a different answer. I don't really care about the specific answer, but back in the golden ages of superheroes, the first hero was the Gauntleteer for New Gauntlet City. He was Latino who had found some kind of magic gauntlet, and he helped to form this group called the First Guard, and they helped to protect the New Gauntlet City during World War II. And then he went away. And other people over the last decades since he went away have, when New Gauntlet City needs a hero or heroine, or someone to stand up, someone else has found the gauntlet or picked up the gauntlet, as it were. This game is taking place during the 80s. In the wiki, we call it the Bronze Age. In my head, I call it the Neon Age because it's fun. The Bronze Age covers 70s and 80s. Now, this is not an era that has been explored in a great deal of depth in the games over the last year and a half that we've played, which is great. It's our own playing field. I do know that there are some that have just recently taken place, like there was a Hearts of Wulin hack in the style of like an Iron Fist tournament that took place in the 80s. That may be alluded to during our game, mostly because that's bananas and I adore it and I can't help it. Let's just say that at some point during the 3 sessions, there may be a celestial mountain floating over New Gauntlet City, but hey, it's comics, so we're living in the shadow of a celestial mountain where a magical tournament for fighters is going on? Okay, cool. We are currently, hey, let me talk about the game we're playing now. We're playing Hearts and Souls. This is a game that was published in 2006 by Tim Kirk of Silver Lion Studios. It is a very indie game. I think it's fascinating, and this is the first time that I've run it or played it, so bear with me. I think I've got it. I've read and reread the thing. It's got a bunch of neat things that we will explore and play, and I have a lot of excitement because I have a person that I've played with a great deal with, and a person that I've never played with before. And I love that mix. That is always a really fun way to get excited and be surprised. So the last thing that I'll say before I have folks introduce themselves, and then we'll finish up the character creation process, is to remind us that we have safety tools. I'm going to glance over on our character keeper. I see that we have lines against sexual assault, sexual violence, and a veil against consensual sex. If you add anything more to that, just ping me with a quick note on our Zoom meeting to let me know so I can go back and look at that. But for now, I'll hold to those. And then, hey, even if you don't realize that a thing's going to bother you, we have something that's layers on top of that called the X card. All you have to do is declare, hey, I need to X card X or Y. You can mention it in chat on our roll for your party. There are these safety tools with black button, red script, and if you click on that, then it'll do a pop-up text window, and you can put what you want to X card, and then everyone who's in that roll for your party will give a pop-up and it will say what has been objected to. Whatever you're most comfortable with, I strongly advise you to X card if a thing starts to bother you. I also advise you that if a thing happens and at first you're like, hey, and you let it ride, because I've done that. And then later you're like, well, I let it ride the first time. You can still X card it. It does not obviate your ability to X card a thing. It's totally cool. Like, sometimes you're like, that's no big deal. And then people harp on it and you're like, it's a deal. Like, let's just X card it and move on. Your safety or your ability to have fun, and I do think of superheroes as pretty darn fun. So your ability to have fun doing this is way more important than the canon or whatever's been established. This is comics, guys. They could change writers midstream, and everything that was true before is gone. So if Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse can retcon stuff, gosh, so can we. So if Disney can throw out all of the expanded universe of Star Wars by paying, I don't know, several $billion, we can do it with our free money, our fake money. We can do it too. So that's my talk about the safety tools. They're pretty important to me. There have been times when I've used it and it's absolutely improved my play, and I didn't know about it, and I wish that I had. So I always like to make sure that it is highlighted and important. Sherry, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your hero, your heroine. You are talking on mute, so let me take a drink.
It's important that I establish that this is my MO early on. Talking on mute is what I do. So my name is Sherry. I use the she, her pronouns. I am playing Marcy Wiggins, who also uses she, her pronouns. That is her everyday daily ID. Her heroic ID is XS. She is a size changing superhero. Not that she's very well known, but she has a suit that she's made. She can change down to very, very small. She is very good at spying and listening in on things, and she can use the size strength ratio to her advantage to cause amazing devastation and unexpected effects. But mostly she's just making the suit because she's hoping to impress the Gauntleteer. Like, if she can get an interview with her, she's got this idea that she will pack it into a briefcase and make an appointment and impress the Gauntleteer, and then something will happen miraculously and she becomes an official superhero. That's her plan. That's how it works, right? Like a resume or something.
Yeah, I think this is a solid plan.
Yes.
That has every chance of working. Oh, except the Gauntleteers disappeared. So
no.
Dang it. Thank you, Sherry. Laura, please introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, hi, I'm Laura. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character, Trixie Stare, who his heroic identity is skater-brained. Trixie is a roller derby girl, a total badass. Love her. So she comes from a not so great home life. And the reason she became a superhero was because she felt bad that she couldn't protect her siblings when the going got really tough. And so she has now vowed to protect the underdog and those that cannot protect themselves. And she has some trust issues. So, she found solace in skating with the girls, and girls is spelled with a Z. I just wanted to clarify. They always had her back and gave her a place to crash. So they're very important to her. Yeah.
Very cool. Let me take a moment. Our working title or the pitch for this particular comic is Desperately Seeking Gauntleteer. Let's take a look just for future folks who have not seen the picture in the character keeper. This is the Gauntleteer, the neon hero of the 80s. This is the Gauntleteer. She took up the gauntlet. So I mostly picked this because this is an 80s neon amazing picture. But let's answer a few questions about the Gauntleteer. Let's define her in this era. See here, she has this robot arm and a crazy, almost looks like a spirit sword of some kind. So, Trixie, what do you know about this robotic arm? Is this a thing that where she lost her arm? Is this a thing where she replaced her arm on purpose? Was she what have you heard about this robot arm that the Gauntleteer has?
Yeah, so I've only heard from rumors, but apparently she lost her arm in this epic battle with some supervillain. We don't remember his name, but we remember her name certainly. But so she lost her arm in this fight, but you should have seen the other guy. Um,
We
she
don't
ended up.
remember his name, so obviously she really nice.
But I think that I've heard that she built this arm herself after the fight, and actually claimed this his spirit sword, and now wields it with her own power.
Ooh, claimed his spirit. So is this like crazy teeth and everything? Is that the guy, Marcy? His spirit, or is there something else going on with this weird spirit sword?
I think that it absorbs the essence of anyone that it kills. And so the Gauntleteer picked it up because while she uses it to defend Gauntlet City, she's so extraordinarily skilled that she never kills anyone with it. But there's that threat. So it's really just about how much control she has. So, and part of that is because, of course, the gauntlet is fused into that robot arm. So,
Okay, that was the next question I was going to ask. Is like, where's the gauntlet?
so you can see why Marcy is in love, because this is another science hero.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So, Marcy has this super suit. She thinks it's a great way to get an interview with the Gauntleteer, which then, like, step 2, step 3,
And lo, a
superhero
miracle
team,
occurs.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Love that. That's a great plan. Trixie, what's your involvement with the Gauntleteer? Has she supported your roller derby team in the past, or has she helped you or one of your siblings in the past? Like, why do you, Trixie, care about the Gauntleteer?
She was a legend on the roller derby team. She was actually the founder, and actually gave a lot of these girls support when they didn't have any. So she's kind of legendary.
Okay, so what is the mascot name of this roller derby team? I know, I'm sorry.
Let's see.
I'm sure there's got to be a roller derby team name generator. It's a search term that popped up in the Google. Generator Land has some. I'm linking you to it. The roller derby. Roll it. Oh yeah. The Psycho Wham crew, Hamilton Force Quads, Midwest Peach Candies, Voodoo Rat She Corporals. Okay.
I was going to go with like maybe the Little Slammers, and then like the mascot is like a little girl with like a big bat.
I love it.
Cool. So the Little Slammers?
Good. Yeah.
That's the mascot. They're the Slammers. So they're the New Gauntlet City Slammers.
The NGC Slammers. But if I remember when we were talking before, the Trixie, like, this is not the big team, right? Like, they're not part of the major league. They're small scale so far. Nice. Are they? So they're small scale, but but formed by the Gauntleteer. So you think, how long has the Gauntleteer been missing, Scatterbrained?
I think that it's been long enough so that it's starting to cause worry, so that I think that like villains are beginning to realize, look, there's a big power vacuum here.
Here's the other piece within the pitch that I just wanted to like throw out there. You two, as far as you know, are the only people who remember the Gauntleteer.
Oh yeah, like I put a personal ad in the newspaper. Desperately seeking Gauntleteer.
That's perfect. I love it.
I think that's the cover for the
Totally.
I think that's one of the cover pages.
Yes, so good. I love it. Good. So yeah, she's been gone long enough to where there is a power vacuum. Folks are like small time thugs that maybe were more careful are now becoming more brazen. Things are getting rougher around the neighborhood. Could I ask one more tough question? Let's take a look at our wiki, because I can't help myself. Let's look at our city map. I want to pick a neighborhood. Maybe we make a neighborhood because there are blank spaces, which makes me happy.
Okay.
So here's a picture of the Gauntlet City neighborhoods. We've got downtown west, and Bassettville. Those are all the nicer places. Up here in College Hill, that's where the college is located. Scoville Terrace in the 80s is kind of your hardworking industrial area. None of the factories have closed in that area yet. Midtown is growing by leaps and bounds. Undertaker's Row and Dreams End, there's even in the 80s, they were pretty rough neighborhoods. And we've got the international airport just recently opened up, so it's big stuff. Any particular area for Trixie that we want to explore? North, south, east, west? Any numbers that call out to you? I know I'm asking a lot, but just throwing it out there.
I'm liking number 14 right there. I like the idea of bordering Dreams End.
All right, area 14. And that's where the roller derby rink is. For the Slammers. It may not be, it's not your rink, but it's the rink where you guys play and practice and have games and all that fun stuff. All right, Marcy, area 14. Do you have any ideas of what this neighborhood might currently be called? And again, neighborhoods change names, but maybe this is what it's called in the 80s.
Well, I think that you got the Southwest Gardens, right?
Yep, Southwest Garden, Undertaker's Row, Dreams End, Hollow Park. Those are all the things around there.
Wow, okay. And Dreams End. How about like one of the hallmarks of it? Because you got that whole Undertaker's Row, and then the garden stuff around it. Why don't we call this sort of Cemetery Hill?
Oh, wow.
That essentially it's a thing where it's there's a whole neighborhood, but in the middle there's a kind of raised section. It's all cemetery and parks.
And mausoleums.
Like right around it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. And so it's like one of the higher parts of this section of the city. So they bury people there because if the waters ever rose, because over here on the eastern side is where we have a river. So if this is in a floodplain area, but this part of Cemetery Hill wouldn't get flooded, so people wouldn't have troubles with what happens and why you put people bury people above ground in New Orleans, etc. I love it. That's fantastic. Great. So, the slammers, right? And the little slammer is the icon or the mascot for it. I think it would be fun if we just open up our session with an actual roller derby match. It's taking place during a fundraiser. Marcy, what is the group or the under? It's the 80s. So what is it that we're raising money for? Is it like a We Are the World type thing? Is it some kind
There
of
were so
UNICEF
many of them.
thing?
Farm Aid.
Farm Aid, yeah, but
See here. Let's see here.
do they know it's Christmas?
Let's say we're mid 80s and AIDS is a big thing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So there's a thing of that that the slammers are kind of radical because they're trying to raise money for essentially AIDS, AIDS patients and stuff like that.
That's fantastic. Still with us, Laura? You're frozen for me.
Very frozen.
I'm still here.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool.
Yeah, as long as I can hear you, that's what matters. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So yeah, we start off and there's like this banner that's hung up against the back wall of the roller rink, and it says AIDS benefit. And then we see as people are coming in, they're like stuffing just onesie twosie dollars, an occasional 20. This is the 80s, it's a lot of money. They're stuffing into a giant fishbowl, right? But then occasionally people are like changing money over. We've got a member of the Little Slammer support team that's there to take the money at the box. Now, I am going to have to come up with a name because you're playing against another team. So now I have to generate a name. I think, oh man. I don't know if I want to go. Ooh, I do love that. All right, hold on. I'm gonna click a couple more. You guys are playing against the shotgun zoomers. Yeah, that's a thing. The shotgun zoomers, they're from out of town. They're another small, unaffiliated, kind of independent roller derby team. They came in on a bus. It turns out that one of the girls actually is a school bus driver. So in the after hours, they just hop on the bus. So it's actually like, it is the Galarian County Schools bus that's just parked right outside of the Cemetery Hill roller rink. And as we see, okay, we've got this benefit going on. The shotgun zoomers are racing around the rink, and I'm thinking that their colors are like, well, here, so that Trixie, what are the colors of the slammers? That way which I'll just like flip,
Yeah. So I'm looking at the picture for my character sheet, and I think that our colors might be like pink and red.
Yeah, pink and red. I love it. So I think that the color for the shotgun zoomers is like this it's like deep royal blue, but to play into the like the shotgun bit is that they have all these like red splotches. It almost looks like maybe somebody had a paintball gun of red. They just like shot each other with it because they're tough. And this team is not high on skill. They're rough. It's roller derby rough, so they play hard, but they're not actually out to injure anyone. But they pride themselves on how tough they are. And as we see the scoreboard is lit up, and it's those it's the old style school scoreboard, popular from the 80s, right? And you can see that the score's pretty close. When we come into this scene and this is where I knew enough roller derby to get by the one time that I played that amazing roller derby RPG, but now it has failed me because it's been a few months. So there's the one person who's the scorer who like leads ahead, right? And they're trying to lap everybody. What is that position called? And is that what Trixie does, or is she more in the meat of the pack when we pick up?
So I know that there's one girl that she's usually small, but she gets slingshotted forward. Is that the scorer?
Yes, the jammer. She's the one who's wearing a star on it, and yeah, I think she's the one who tries to pass the opposing blockers to Rich, quickly reading from the WFTDA, which I think is official. Yeah, there we go. So do you imagine that Trixie is the jammer who does all the scoring? I mean, you're the superhero, so I imagine that would be the thing.
Yeah, so today she is not. Just because this is a kind of low ranks game, they don't need me getting injured. I'm normally the scorer, but one of the other girls who are newer to the pack are giving it a go this time, and they can always use me in the big group of girls on track. So
Sweet. So today the jammer for the slammers, the slammer jammer, is Morgan Antagonist. She calls herself the antagonist. So Morgan Antagonist, she is this svelte little spitfire with flaming dyed red hair. It's like, it's not a great dye job. Like you can see little bits on her scalp where she did it herself, but she does not care because it looks dope and the helmet covers a lot of it. And she's racing around. Now, Marcy, where are you as we come in? We see Trixie's supporting the team, but keeping things back because this is a charity event. She's not going to get hurt for it. Maybe the team's watching over Trixie, but what is Marcy up to?
I think you see Marcy, and she has the newspaper folded up that had her ad in it, and the such it's circled because we've got to do all the exposition, right?
Yes.
And she's got a roadmap, because in the 80s there was no Google Maps, and if you had to find a place you weren't familiar with, and
Ray McNally was your friend.
Yeah, she's very carefully driven, essentially created a little line, but you can see like it wasn't very far away that she lived from it. She just had no idea where the place was, so she's carefully drawn this little picture to get there. She has this very studious look. She has glasses that she pushes up, and she's sort of coming in. It's all loud and clearly overwhelming to her, and they ask for a donation, and she's like, oh, like, because she had no idea. So she's sort of scribbling through her purse trying to find the money, and put it in. And she ends up, because she kind of panicked since she wasn't expecting this, like putting like a lot of cash in there inadvertently, and then wanting to get it back out, and then because charity, and just going and scooting along.
Nice. Queen Dinosaurus is the girl. She's currently injured. She's on the injured reserve for the Slammers. She's the one going around with the fishbowl, which you stuff let's say it's like $40. Her eyes get wide. She's all right. And then she moves on, and we see that stressful moment of you realizing that was probably your lunch money for a while. So I'm going to say that as the game is ongoing, Trixie, your team's starting to fall behind, and it works in 3 periods. So we'll say that at the end of second period, you're all starting to get a little tired, right? This is a war of attrition roller derby. It's a pretty long game. I mean, you are skating for quite a while. So by second period, girls are already like hairs matted to their scalps, and you're all on the bench in the middle, and I imagine there's like some kind of mid-period entertainment of some kind. Maybe a couple of skater guys come out and they're playing some cool. What's the cool 80s song, Marcy, that's playing over the loudspeakers here? Or
This is an AIDS benefit. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to see a YMCA,
Totally.
on skates, doing all of that. And, people are dressed in the thing. It's what everyone wants and expects. So they're both like yelling and approving and also throwing boxes and stuff like, throwing popcorn boxes and stuff too. Yeah, no, but it would definitely be YMCA and,
Totally.
a selection of Village People songs.
Yeah, and of course it's raining men because.
Oh yeah, but that's
Well,
kind
also,
of like
it's like a medley.
Yeah, exactly. So,
those two don't flow too well together, so they have a transition song. Got a decent DJ. This is the 80s, right? So he like mixes them together. He's got a couple of decks going on, maybe like one headphone on one ear and then the headphone off the other, and it's like spinning everything up. And this place is hopping. There's a lot of people who have come from the various neighborhoods around. There are folks from Southwest Garden, Dreams End. There are even people who came all the way from State Estates in Irvine, all here representing. Trixie, as you're sitting there with the rest of your team, you guys are down by 4, and antagonist is like, "Hey, do you want the helmet? Do you want the helmet, Trixie? I think we ought to win this. I mean, this is our benefit."
Trixie looks at her and looks at the helmet and kind of snatches it away. Then puts it on her head and just says, "Let's go."
Cool. So you snatch that helmet away, and the other girls are like, "All right, yeah." They're starting to get excited. The timer's going down for the end of the mid period. You're about to go out. When you glance out over to the reception area where people, the table where people were donating money, you recognize a guy that comes in. He's wearing just no shirt, just a vest. You've seen him before. He's Trouble. He calls himself like his villain name, his street name is Heavy Metal. He's got this like big kind of crimped hair. And he wears like a headband to keep it out of his eyes. But you know that he has the ability to like turn his body into liquid metal. And he's not the worst kind of guy on a one-on-one, but his best friend is a real piece of work. His best friend always like he's got his buddy's back, and so he ends up doing crime because Tendril talks him into it. But he comes in, and you see he's just standing by the door, and he looks up at the benefit banner, and he looks a little nervous. And then you see this guy who comes in, and he like slides on his mask, and sure enough, it's Tendril. And there was a lot of money you guys raised. So
$40 of it mine.
At least 40 of it. At least 40 times X%. So Trixie, you've just got a few seconds before the next period is about to begin. But do you think Tendril and Heavy Metal might be up to something? What do you do?
I think I turn to my girls and I say we might have trouble, and then I kind of like glance over at the two of them.
Oh, nice. And Morgan, who's kind of our little spokesperson for the NPC, she's like, "Oh man, we couldn't afford any security. I'll go talk to him or something." And so she kind of starts walking on her skates. She's handed over her jammer helmet, so she's taking herself out for the period. She's gonna take care of it. And then we hear, and it's time for you guys to get out onto the rink.
Okay, and I'm going to say that Marcy, when she sees one of the team come off the rink, this is her chance, and she sort of tries to catch up with her. And she's like, excuse me, can you tell me which one of the players is Trixie Stare?
Oh, she's the one with the star helmet that used to be mine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wonder if any of the dye got on the... No, it's fine. It's fine. Why?
And she goes, "Oh, I was supposed to meet her after, but I didn't know which one she was."
Oh, right. Yeah, she's right there. She like
Okay.
slides by, already starting to score.
Okay, so I just want to set it up that I'm like sort of standing over there by the thing because it chased her down.
Sweet. So as Trixie's on the rink, Marcy, you overhear this redheaded girl saying, "Hey, you guys need to go. This is a benefit. You know, we don't want any trouble." And you see this guy with this blue mask that he's put on. It's like a hockey mask that he's painted and covered with some kind of, I don't know, paper mache, something or other, and the eyes glow like weirdly red. Have you ever read about or seen Tendril, the low time villain who has the ability to like generate these weird barbed tendrils?
I would think that in fact I have an extensive set of binders of all known supers so that I can make sure that my powers, I've like gone through and done little check marks of how I would, counteract their known powers and, theories and things that I should look into and stuff like that. Yes.
So good. So you know that this is Tendril. He is a not great guy, and if he's here, then there's the possibility of some trouble. And as you are thinking through your binders, he actually shoves that redheaded girl down and grabs the little cash box.
Okay. And I sort of like run over. I'm like, "Oh no!" And then I like I'm trying to get past, and then you'll see her kind of just disappear. If that makes any sense, because she's size changed into tiny.
Sweet.
And so yeah, I'm like getting ready. I'm going to give him such a punch in the ankle. So
Awesome. So you say, "Oh no," and then boo, you like boo, we have the panel where it shows you in like silhouettes of several different degrees until you're this tiny little barely even see you XS. So Trixie, you've just taken the lead when you hear the sound of Morgan, antagonist, getting shoved to the ground. Like she does the thing where her hands slap on the parquet floor, and she screams out, "Hey!" And that's when, as you're zipping around, you see Tendril grab the cash box and take off for the door.
Yeah, I think that Trixie ends up like signaling to the other girls like time out and then gesture over, and then I think I exit the arena.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and they don't. It takes them a second, but they're not going to fight you. Well, do they know you do like this whole like superhero thing?
I feel like maybe some of them do, but it's not common knowledge. Like maybe like a choice few do, but
Nice. So yeah, I think there's a moment of hesitation as you're like, no, we need to call a timeout. And Bubbles Dog Bite says, "Hey, no, we just took the lead." But then Queen Dinosaurus, who's out there, was taking the money. She's like, "No, we're good. Just hand over the helmet, Trix. It's okay." And so you're like handing over the jammer helmet, and the referees like checking out what's going on as they had to stop the jam. But there you are. You're like coming off of the rink to try to chase after what's going on. So XS, you're now super shrunk, and you see the tendrils taking off for the door, and then
I catch a hold of the top of his shoe, and literally you see her kind of set herself in, and she's pulling back for a punch, for a very tiny punch.
Nice. Okay, so let's walk through it. So
Okay, yes.
Tendril, I'd imagine that if you want to punch him, then you're going to need to make. It feels like that would be the use of coordination-based skills is covered by deftness. But if you want to default to your power instead for attack, then we can do that instead.
Yes, I think that's what I would do.
Sounds
because
great.
that's where it all comes from.
All right. So with that being exceptional, you're gonna roll 2 dice. Now, this is within the superhuman scale, right? Because you're
Mhm.
using your superpowers. Tendril's going to try to reflexively protect himself with the weird tendrils that he can just randomly create out of his body. But I'm going to set a slightly lower difficulty because you sneak attack him.
Yep, sneak
Um,
attack.
Sneak attack. So you're going to roll 2d8, and the challenge rating is that you only keep the best of the 2 dice that you roll. But you're going to need a 4 just because this first time around is pretty easy. You got a sneak attack. He doesn't know you're coming. He thinks, hey, I'm getting away with this cash box. It's all good. So you roll those 2d8. You're looking for 4s or better or d8.
I got a 6 and an 8.
So if you, just because I want to make sure that I like slide this in, if neither of those die roll results have been better than a 4, then you could have re-rolled your dice with what's called a monologue. And what a monologue is, it can be internal or external. It's a thing that we would kind of read in the comic. And it's where you would reinforce your drive as a way that pushes you further to be that super heroine that overcomes something. It's one of the things about Hearts and Souls I really dig because it feels very comic booky, you know. Also, I grew up reading Chris Claremont, so long amounts of monologue were a big thing. Yes, I love that mechanic a lot. But you did amazingly well without it. I just wanted to mention it. So what does that look like when you knock him on his butt? So what does that look like?
Yeah, I think that what it looks like is essentially he's got it, he's running out, and you see this thing of all of a sudden he goes, ha, and he drops to grab his ankle because this incredible pain, like it's like his ankle's broken. It hasn't, but you know, it's this incredible sharp pain through his ankle that has no particular reason to exist. And sort of as he's sort of doing that, you see her being like sort of knocked off of his shoe because she's had to let go in order to, you know, hit him as hard as she wanted to do that kind of jump to get up there.
Oh yeah,
And
we
so
totally see a
she's
thing
just
of
being,
like
you see
his
this
foot.
like little tiny, you know, person being flung away.
I think like the first panel is him running, and the second panel is like the excess sized thing where it's his giant heel, and you like come up and punch it, and then we go back again, and we just see him like falling down on the ground, and he kind of stumbles forward a little bit, and then we see heavy metal, right? He's got this this chrome skin now as he's shifted into his like super powered look, and he catches his buddy and he's like, hey man, you okay? He goes, I don't know, man. Somebody's got an ankle breaking power. We gotta go, man. No, we see the little hi-hat. That's great. I love that little onomatopoeia in there. This sounds fantastic. So Trixie, you come off of the rink. A bunch of people are starting to like gather around, but now that heavy metal has meddled up, they're getting a little scared. Like they're not gonna roll with this guy who's probably weighs about a ton right now. What do you do?
I mean, I think I charge forward, and I'm assuming I'm coming up behind them, right?
Yeah, but I think heavy metal tried to catch Tendril. So he may be able to like see you as you're coming up. He's more concerned about his best friend and this ankle breaking power thing. But yeah, when you roll up on them, and imagine like he looks up and we see in his metal skin is what color is reflected off of his shiny chrome skin.
So I think that it is a sunburst like orange, because
Nice.
Trixie is powering up.
Sweet. So fantastic. So you power up and you've got these weird lava lamp type globules that you can use to attack somebody. Looks like you've got an exceptional attack rating. Again, this is a superhero thing. So let's have you roll 2d8. And you're also looking for to beat a 4. So you'll need a 5 6, 7, or 8 on either of those D8s.
All right, so I got a 7 and a 3.
Okay, so all you have to do is have one of them beat it. Evidently, the dice love you guys, and that's fine. I'm not hurt by that at all. You say these globs are like lava hot, right? Because it's lava lamp stuff. So do you attack Tendril because he's still holding the cash box, or Heavy Metal who's facing you?
I think that I throw one at Tendril's hand so that he drops the cash box.
Nice. Yeah, so what does that look like? Is it like a thing where you like push out the glob, or do you lob it? What does the comic panel show? Oh, you got muted for some reason, Drake.
There it is. Okay.
There we go.
So I think the idea is that like so she kind of puts her hand onto her stomach where there's like exposed skin, and she kind of like you see her kind of like dragging out this like kind of iridescent glowing glob from her stomach.
That's so crazy. I love it.
And so then it's just kind of pulsing in her hand, and then she just kind of lobs it as she skates towards the duo.
Sweet. So Tendril's holding on to that. You hit it right around his hands, and we see like a little from the cash box itself, but it doesn't burn it up, right? Because that would be terrible. And you were successful. But it hits his hands, and he's like, "Mierda!" And he drops the cash box. And yeah, that's a thing. Like he is in rough shape. He just got ankle broken, and then got hot plate on his hands. But now Heavy Metal he sees who attacked his good buddy, so he's like sets him down. He charges forward towards you to hit you, Trixie. And I'm gonna say that he clocks you, right? Is it a thing? You are gonna take 1 stress from this, so it's barely even a glancing blow. What is it that you do at this first kind of? Is it a thing where he overestimates how quickly you're coming up, or you've got some kind of cool defensive powers? Why is it he only barely tagged you?
So I think that I saw that he was coming, and so another thing about my powering up is that like so the way that I was thinking my power kind of works is that like when I'm powering up, the kind of globs that like I can extract from myself kind of pool right underneath my skin, which is why I change color.
Oh, nice.
So I think that kind of like absorbs some of the blow.
Nice. So he like hits you, and we see this kind of cool effect of the globules protecting you, giving you a little bit of armor. I dig it. Awesome. So let's cut back to XS. You're right there. You just saw like the huge foot of Heavy Metal step over top of you to go towards Skaterbrand, the only enemy that he sees. And Tendril is now like his hands hurt so bad that he's going to try to use a tendril to pick up the cash box and try to get out of here. But he's going to limp real bad because you busted his ankle up pretty bad. So XS, what are you doing?
I think that's interesting because she's got like all that cash stuff right in front of her, but also Heavy Metal going by to hit someone. I think that inherently, when she saw him going to attack, she probably put her little suit hands up, essentially turn the magnets on, and to pull herself up onto Heavy Metal. And
oh, you're on Heavy Metal? That's great.
Yeah. Essentially she does this, and it's like the magnetic force pulls her up to him. She's like, caught on like whatever exposed metal there is. So I'm thinking that that's probably what it is, wrists or hands.
I mean, his whole upper body, other than just like this tan leather vest, is exposed. So it could be like his back, it could be his side, his arms, whatever.
Okay, yeah. Let's say, so she's just on him again. So she kind of comes up, and I think that you got that thing with the magnetic stuff, and she's going to like, as she does that, she's going to do a little like rocket power thing. So like when she hits his wrist, she
Mhm.
tags it pretty hard. So it's kind of like someone slapped his wrist.
Nice. Okay, so
Okay.
you're using that same attack power, and the difficulty for him is also you need to beat a 4. However, he has a significant amount of armor, so the amount of stress he'll take from this will be reduced. But
Yeah, just want to freak him out as much
yeah,
as
it's
anything.
probably going to freak him out.
Okay. So I rolled 2d8, right?
Yep.
I got a 2 and an 8.
Man, look at you with those 8s. That is awesome. So clang, we see another onomatopoeia there as you see it. And Trixie, you hear that. You hear something just patang, like somebody rung a bell. And he shakes his hand a little bit and starts looking around. He's like, hits you. And then all of a sudden his wrist made this weird sound. What do you do? Scatterbrained. Now that you've got this slightly confused heavy metal, you see behind him the tendril is going to just leave him holding the bag and try to take off using his tendril to carry the cash box. And he's kind of limping away very slowly. What do you do?
So I think that Trixie has been around New Gauntlet City enough to understand that powers come in many shapes and sizes, as it were. So I think that she figures that there's someone else kind of helping her. So I think that she's going to devote her attention to Tendril and try to block off any escape route that he has and zoom past it.
All right. If you're willing to take a stress to kind of ignore heavy metal's reaction, then I'll let you go ahead and skate past. You like that?
Yeah, that works.
All right, awesome. Sorry, I just wanted to acknowledge my own dad joke. Okay, so you'll take a stress, and let's have you go ahead and attack Tendril. If you're successful here, you'll be taking him down at this point. He's not nearly as powerful as getting hit 3 times by the two of you guys.
Okay, so I got a 7 and a 4.
Okay, the 7 exceeds that target number. So what does it look like when you take Tendril out?
So I'm thinking that maybe like I kind of do rapid fire of my my little globules, so it creates this kind of wall in front of him, and maybe he like was trying to like propel himself forward and trips and falls into that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just kind of like chilling there, maybe getting a little burned. And I think I skate up and just take this away from him.
Cool. So you take the cash box away. Are you imagining that this wall is some kind of like prison effectively for him? Or was it a thing where he ran into it and bounced off of it?
I think it's the kind of thing where he ran into it, but then it kind of like absorbed him a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And gave him a
Yeah,
hug.
like a big burning hug. This sucks. Poor guy. I mean, not really poor guy. He's
Really?
still buddy from an AIDS benefit, so he deserves this and then some. Poor guy in quotes. So yeah, he slams into that. He's out, right? Like he got burned. Now he's laying on the ground. His tendrils are like wriggling, and then they just still. He is KO'd. Excess, you rung the bell that was Heavy Metal's wrist. He shoved Scatterbrained a little bit, but then she moved past, and now he's totally focused on his good buddy. Oh man! What do you do?
I think I do the thing with the magnets to get myself up by his ear, and I go, "You better go help your buddy."
Okay. So, was the attempt to just freak him out?
No, really, just kind of to like say the thing that he was thinking anyway. Does that make any sense? Like,
Yeah, it
because he
does.
doesn't know where the voice is coming from.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe he thinks he's talking to himself because he runs over and he's going to try to scoop up Tendril and just run away. He's ignoring the cash box at this point. He just saw that his buddy got burned a couple times and this has gone all kinds of wrong. And he mutters to himself, I know, I got to get him. Like he's muttering to himself, but he's talking to you. He goes, I know, I got to get him out of here. This is a terrible idea.
He's lucky you're such a good friend.
I know. He doesn't recognize the depth of friendship that I have for him. And he picks up Tendril and he's gonna try to burst through the gel lava wall there. You might get burnt as well there, Excess, if you
Yeah, I
hang
might
on.
attempt an exit. I'm like looking to see if Trixie has any metal on her that I can kind of go to. I'm thinking a belt buckle or something, right?
Yeah, no. I'm wondering, like, would I? Oh, I passed off my helmet. But yeah, I think that Trixie tends to. I kind of like the idea that she kind of has a punk look a little bit, but like, just a little bit though. So yeah, I think that she would have some jewelry on her, some bling.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that's it. Is that you hear ding if something hits like your earring. So,
Nice. So, Scatterbrain, it looks like Heavy Metal's intent is he's picked up Tendril at this point and he just wants to leave. He'll Hawaiian punch, run through the wall if he has to. He's just trying to get out of here. What do you do? And you hear the little ting, right? Because we're big into onomatopoeias in this comic.
Yeah, I think I might try to address the ping that I heard. I'm assuming that someone's there. I think Trixie may say hello.
hi, I'll introduce myself in a minute. Very sorry. Very sorry. Very awkward.
Nice. So, Scatterbrain, do you want to try to take a pot shot at Heavy Metal, or they've dropped the bank box and he's trying to just leave? Do you let him leave, or do you want to take him down so that the cops can come around and?
Oh no, I wanna give him something to remember me by. So I think that I'm gonna try to lob one of my granules at him.
All right, take another shot. 2d8. You need 5s or better.
All right. Five and a 3.
So he gets to the door and you lob one of those. When you imagine, like, maybe it hits in the back of his head and burns a little bit of his cool hair, his crimped hair there. You see, he's like, ah! He stumbles out to the alleyway, but he's going to make it out. He will not forget this. We cut to the alleyway as he's running away with Tendril. He goes, I told you it was a bad idea. I told you, man. And so some people start clapping, right? They just recognize what you do. You got the cash box there. Scatterbrain and Morgan antagonist comes over. Wow, I didn't know you could do that. You're like a super.
No, I'm super nothing. And she kind of shoves the cash box at her and kind of skates away to the locker room.
Such a punk. Cool.
Oh, cool. The locker room, because I'm kind of holding on for dear life here. So she gets to the locker room, jump down to the bench. Then I can turn back.
Awesome. So we'll just jump to the locker room scene. The match is still in the last period. Trixie, you're here. Imagine there's a bunch of like metal lockers. They're like little half lockers. So there's like 2 half lockers over and under, wooden bench in the middle, showers off to the back, mirrors. And Trixie, someone is around your earring or something. Excess, what do you do?
I think that, there was the middle locker. So I think you hear the ting over by one of the lockers, and then you see like something drop to the ground. And then you'll see whoop, and there's Marcy, or you see a person who's in a suit. And then you see the suit kind of sort of roll back and disappear, like she's wearing like a necklace, like a choker, black choker, and it sort of disappears up into that. And she's just this girl with like denim skirt and those, soft, crushy calf high boots. And she looks totally like senior high school or community college, you know, girl from the suburbs, and glasses that she immediately does this with. And she says, "You're Trixie Stare, right?"
Yeah, I think that Trixie kind of quirks her eyebrow, and that's like the most surprise that you'll see Trixie get. And she says, "Yeah,
So, so you answered my ad. That was
your
me.
ad."
I'm desperately seeking Gauntleteer.
Oh,
Yes. No one else remembers.
no, yeah, I kind of picked up on that, which is weird considering that she kind of founded this place. Um,
And I think Marcy throws herself at you, grabs your arm and says, "Please, please help me. We have to find her. We have to rescue her."
okay, first things first. Uh, if you want my help, no touchy. No touchy.
Sorry.
She kind of like brushes off where Marcy like touched her arm.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's true.
Like, right. What's the last thing you remember about the Gauntleteer? When was the last time you saw her?
She goes, "This is the thing. The last time I saw her, I was watching TV and it was late, and the bars came up, and then they started playing the national anthem, and then it sort of got really quiet. And then I saw her, and she turned towards me and looked at me. And then it went back to the bars. So she was on TV."
Weird. No, the last time I saw her, like, can sound really stupid, but she came to me in a dream, and she just kind of was looking at me. It looks like she was trying to mouth something through this like dark mirror, but I couldn't hear anything.
Maybe mine was a dream too, but it seemed so TVE. I don't have the words for it. Oh, I'm sorry. We know something's wrong.
But why us? Nobody else seems to realize.
There must be something that's giving us an immunity to whatever effect this is. She kind of goes, "But I don't know what it is."
Well, you look like you're the one with the brains here.
You're really good at stuff. So, yeah, why don't you come to my place? It's not that far, after the match, okay? I'll wait.
Trixie kind of nods her head.
Okay.
All right.
I should probably go and sit in the stands, huh? Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Okay. I'm sorry. Very sorry. She backs out.
Nice. So, Trixie, as you head back out, do you want to see if you guys see that the team has fallen down a few points? You know, to really rally here. If you want to jump in and become the jammer and try to win this one, I'd like to see a roll out of it. Let's see if you can pull it off. Now, this is not, this is going to be on a normal, ordinary scale. So you'll be rolling human scale of a D4, and you'll need to beat 2s. I think deftness is pretty important here. And I don't imagine you're going to be using your superpowers, right?
No.
You are spectacularly deft, though, so you're probably going to be okay. Well, let's see you roll 3d4, and if any one of those are a 3 or a 4, then you're good, and if not, then we may have to see you do a monologue.
All right. So I got.
Dang it! This is awesome. You're so good at this. This is good. All right, so 2 4s means yeah, you get slingshot. I don't know what the like past tense of slingshot is. I don't know. Slongshot? I don't know. You get flung past and you just lap the entire Galarian team. You zip past those shotgun zoomers and end up taking like a 5-point lead by the time that the buzzer goes off, and everyone starts to celebrate. There's a bunch of cheers that come up from all the NGC fans that you guys have, and yeah, they immediately Dinosaurus is like, hey, we need to go out for beers. Come on, let's go out for beers. Let's go. Trixie, but the XS was hoping to talk to you after the match. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think Trixie kind of slaps her on the shoulder and says, I've had a long day. I think I'll take a pass.
Like, oh man, too good for some beers. She says, the shotguns are going to have to buy the first round. At least come for the first round.
I'll come later if I feel up for it. I'm really
too
sad.
cool for that. Yeah, they can't. You're too cool for that. You're fine. They can't guilt trip you into anything. So they all go into the locker room, change out their skates and take off pads and stuff. And a lot of them drop into dress street clothes. But some of them keep on their roller derby jerseys because they just won a game. And sure enough, like, this is small enough that a lot of the fans are going to the same bar as well as the Zoomers because they have to buy the first round for the victors. It's kind of all you guys get. You don't get a trophy cup. You get free round of beers. And Marcy, do you stay? Like, are you in the locker room when all the rest of the team comes in, or?
Oh no, I had left and I was sitting in the stands cheering.
Okay.
Crazy.
So you left to see the last bit of the game, and so they all kind of disappear, and you see there are a bunch of people are all forming up, and you realize that, like, for a bit there, Trixie's talking to the team, everybody's coming down out of the stands. You're just all by yourself. Getting a little left behind. I think I'd like to give you a stress for that.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next.
You just mark a stress. That's all. You just add a stress point.
Marking a stress. I'm like, okay.
And I realized as I was looking, I didn't ask Laura, what do you imagine the stress or the weakness or stress trigger for Trixie is?
So for Trixie, it's like not being, like, feeling helpless, not being able to actively do something to protect those around her or to, like, enact change.
Nice. That's real cool. Okay. I like it. Awesome. Yeah, like self-doubt. I get you. That's why you had that down there in the stress events. That's cool. All right. So you, kind of blow off your team to go up to Marcy. Marcy, I think she looks a little verklempt, a little nervous there about.
Oh, you came. Okay, good. So I didn't realize that I lived this close to this. So we can walk if you want, or we could take it. No, we can't take a taxi anymore. So we could just walk. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
I love the thought bubble of, like, I just gave away all my money. We can't take a taxi anymore.
She sort of looks at the cash boxes and walks by.
Nice. So you guys head out of the roller rink. You're walking through Cemetery Hill. Just want to, like, paint a little bit of the scene of Cemetery Hill. So Marcy, what's one thing about the area around this roller rink that here in the 80s like reminds us that the Cemetery Hill's a little bit on the run down side. It doesn't get the glitz or the glamour, and it's a neighborhood that's seen better days.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, let's go. We'll go with Marcy because I got a question for Trixie as well.
Okay.
I heard the why, and I was like, "That's me."
Oh.
And I was like, "No, that's not me. Sorry."
It's all good. All good. No problem.
So I think that one of the things that we see is there's a thing where clearly there was like a mini golf course that was next to the school solar, the rink, but that's like for sale. And essentially like we walk by a set of different little businesses that have a for sale or for lease or those kinds of things going on.
Nice. Just letting Laura get settled before we pick back up.
I'm good.
All right, awesome. I really like that, like the idea of a lot of the businesses that were fruitful, just a few years ago, things have just turned down, and those amenities or the extra luxuries that people may have enjoyed, like mini golf, just not doing as well. Trixie, what's one aspect as we see as you guys are walking this couple blocks towards Marcy's place of the what's one reminder we have of the gang activity that's taking place here in Cemetery Hill?
So I think that various buildings and walls are probably tagged. Like I think graffiti is definitely a thing. And then I think you always have the kind of feeling of like people like scattering when you walk by an abandoned alleyway, or like people kind of eyeing you from street corners, that kind of thing.
Marcy, what's your place look like?
So I think when you get there, it looks like a warehouse. And she has a key, and you walk in and you walk past essentially these great big stacks of cemetery stones, of essentially headstones that haven't been carved yet, and of the sort of big decorative boxes that go around the caskets. And those sorts of things. It's like clearly a storehouse for one of the companies that keeps items for funerals. And you get to this metal stairway and you go upstairs, and she has this sort of really big warehouse loft because it's a comic book and she's a science hero. So of course she's got all this room for her stuff. But see, her living area is a cot, a microwave, which was a gift from her mother, and you can see like it's plugged in. There's a card table. There's a refrigerator that looks like it's older than the hills. And that's about it. Oh, a TV.
TV, of course.
A couple of old chairs.
Fondue pot?
Oh, God. She probably has one, but it's under the card table because what do you even use that for?
Right. What do you even use it for?
Exactly.
Totally. Mismatched fondue forks. You never know whose is what. Okay. Rock on. I love it.
If you open a refrigerator, all there is like some milk in there, but the freezer is stuffed full of frozen meals. So.
Oh, like Swanson, like
yes,
frozen.
Swanson.
So
totally
she microwaved.
Swanson's.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have like one of those TV tray tables you just eat in front of the TV? Oh my God, that's so sad. But paints a real big picture. What is Trixie's reaction as you come up the metal store, like tink, tink, tink up the metal stairs to this loft area that's huge, and you could do so much with it. But then you see what Marcy's done.
I mean, I think that Trixie's kind of like, interesting technique. Nice digs.
Thanks. Thanks. I got lots of room for my design. And you'll see she'll go over and hit this button that's kind of hidden in the wall there. And then these sort of racks up above start sliding out. There's all this automation. You see these tables come running out, and there's all this lab equipment and electrical equipment and stuff like that that just kind of comes out on these rails. And she's like, I mean, I've done what I could with the place, but it needs a lot of work. I admit it. But she's looking at her science equipment, not at her living things. And you can see there's like prototypes of her suit there and different like things that she's working on.
Nice. And her stuff like comes up into some kind of necklace, right? Like a choker.
Yeah, choker. So like when she uses it, it like spreads up and down and then shrinks her. So it does a shrink wrap first and then it shrinks her. So.
Nice. Does she have a cordless phone or a phone with pigtail that goes on for like 10 feet?
Oh no, she definitely has a rotary phone still. Maybe a princess phone because those are cheaper still, aren't they? Yeah. They stay on even without the power. So she's got a princess phone that's like
nice.
On the floor by a couch, an old ready couch that she probably, yeah.
Your little answering machine is there and the red light is blinking slowly.
Oh, I gotta check that. It might be my mom.
Cool. And sure enough, it queues up and we hear some music, some Oingo Boingo playing in the background of whoever was on the other end of the phone. And you recognize the voice immediately. It's your brother, Nick, who's currently, at New Gauntlet City University, pursuing a degree in science with a scholarship and everything. And you hear a few other people talking before he comes on. He's like, no. Hey, Mars, listen, Mom came by earlier today and she said that you haven't stopped by in a bit. So I told her I'd give you a call. This is me doing that thing. Oh, and you feel free to call me if you need anything. Okay, great. Love you. Bye. Click.
And she sort of looks at the phone. You see her shoulders go down, and then she pulls herself up and she turns around and she goes, I don't need anything. So, where do you think we should start?
Honestly, I'm a bit out of my depth here. I mean, nobody else remembers the Gauntleteer. Do you think it could have had something to do? I don't know.
Why don't we run some diagnostics?
On what?
Us. We can try to find what the Venn diagram is between myself and you. I mean, you seem very different from me, but there must be something that we have in common if both of us are the only two that remember the Gauntleteer. Maybe it's an alternate dimension that we're particularly well attuned to. Or, I don't know, a kind of sympathy, a subatomic sympathy, something like that.
Yeah. Subatomic sympathy.
Yes. They're very powerful, I understand, though I haven't observed them yet myself in, but anyway, but let's just start with the basics, okay?
Yeah.
Chemical scans, DNA, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, all right. And essentially she has this kooky setup of, like a helmet that connects to a machine. And you have some gloves that you put on. She does that for herself. Starts it up. Hits a button.
That's awesome. So you're trying to find out what about Trixie and Marcy, what commonality is the why the two of you remember, but no one else can. Yes. So I think that is going to be a pretty exceptional difficulty. So using superhuman powers. Let's see. I think as we look at what she can do, it sounds like you're not working necessarily within you. Well, it's part of your. I imagine you're using a gadget here, right?
Yeah, I should probably call that gadgets like lab, but it's just.
All right, so let's go ahead and have you use your powers then.
Okay.
This will be spectacular. You're rolling a superhero thing, so you're going to need to roll 3d8. Let's clear. We got a lot of dice out there, so I'm just going to clear the dice out.
That's cool.
So roll 3d8. You're looking for 5s. Now, this is the thing. The only, like I usually run games rules is written, but I wrote in a helping mechanism because I just can't help myself. If at any time you want to help someone with a die roll, you have to spend a stress, and then you get to roll one of those die types, as long as you can explain like how it is that you're helping out. It could be words of advice, it could be using your power and synchronicity, just as long as the comic book readers will go, oh yeah, that makes sense. And remember, the comic book readers are really gullible. I'm a comic book reader. I'm pretty gullible. So you spend a stress, or you take on a stress, you get to roll a die. Now, let me ask the two of you, because I didn't define it. Do you think it's a thing where you could do it after the roll, the help after the roll, or do you think you need to declare it beforehand? What do you think?
I mean, there's different kinds of assist you could choose to help beforehand, because you recognize it might be one situation. But there's also that kind of save afterwards, where someone gives you that little, catch the last detail that keeps it from all falling apart, kind of. Does that help? So I'm cool with either. That would be my argument for either.
And what do you think, Laura?
I mean, I think for this situation, it's the kind where I help beforehand. In previous mechanics, it tends to be like that help goes before the actual roll. And then like if somebody else wants to like take another action to save whatever action has failed.
Well, the save mechanic could be the drives and a monologue. So I like that. So you need to declare help before the roll, specifically because we don't want to subvert the really cool mechanic of if you fail at a thing, you do a monologue that speaks to your drive and you get to reroll the dice. So cool. Thanks for talking it through with me. But do 3d8?
Okay.
5s are better.
All right. And mind you, the whole time that I was setting Trixie up, very careful not to touch her when I was doing all of this. So
you pay attention. That's a good call.
I'm frightened of her. Okay, so 3, submit. I got a 3, a 4, and a 7.
Awesome. So you put on this like helmet that's probably a metallic spaghetti strainer of some kind. It's got a bunch of weird pigtail cords coming out of it and a few of those little like pincher dealies, right? And you got these cool looking gloves, and we see some electricity pass through it. And then Marcy, it's that harmony. There's a harmony, like a song that you see between you and Trixie. It's as if the two of you are the same note in a song, and the rest of the song has been rewritten, but your note stays true. And you realize that if you can somehow use those harmonics, that you may be able to rebuild the song once again. Is that fair? Is that makes sense enough to go on?
Yes, but what song?
Indeed, Trixie. What is the song that we hear? What is the 80s song that we hear that is this a little bit punk and a little bit nerdy? I can give you a list of about 10 groups off the top of my head that are a little bit punk and a little bit nerdy if you need help.
Yes, please.
Cool. So they might be giants. oh shoot, who did the song with the like an entire album with an Amiga? And they start off with the phone, the sound of the phone, like doing the connection to.
Yep,
Remember they had, you know what I'm
yes.
talking about?
But
Like
when
Hack. I think the name of the song was Hack.
that sounds let's see here.
It doesn't matter. Other slightly there was a bunch of new wave stuff that happened during that time.
Was the beat?
Ooh, you know what would be cool is if the song were in Istanbul or not Constantinople.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh!
If you're
yes.
talking about trying to find someone who's been lost and forgotten, is Istanbul, not Constantinople, would be ideal.
I love it.
That is amazing. So Rich now is going to have to look at the lyrics of Istanbul, not Constantinople. We'll be waiting in Istanbul.
Got to listen to it. We can take a break and no, it's almost the end of the game. So
yeah, exactly. We're near the end. I just grabbed the lyrics. There are some awesome. Yep. That is the thing. So we hear that song, the lyrics, somehow we got the rights to it. Lyrics are like, as you're looking at Trixie, and for some reason Trixie, you're like dialed into this, or maybe it's afterwards when Marcy explains it to you. We see all the lyrics of Istanbul, not Constantinople. We see a world map, right? And we see Istanbul like shifting to Constantinople. And yeah, it's been a long time gone. Oh,
it's a whole thing about the city being renamed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's the thing about she's in a different Gauntlet City, New Gauntlet City.
There we go. That is fantastic. So I think that unless you guys had a couple of like tags at the end, that might be how we bring our first issue to a close. Is that figuring out that what's going on? All right, cool. So the game itself doesn't have an advancement system, which is maybe why you could just put your stats at whatever you want. That said, if after having tried this for a little bit for today's session, if you're like, you know what, I didn't like where so-and-so was within my stats or my drive or anything, if you want to recalibrate, feel free. Otherwise, we'll just roll forward with that next week. So what I'd love to do is just a little bit of post-game feedback. What we'll do is we'll do it as stars and wishes. Wishes, we'll begin with wishes so we can end with stars. Wishes these are things that I definitely want to like a mile marker out or milestone out. These are things that I want to say, this is something I want to see. Also, if there are any points of confusion within the system as we played it today, I'm not even going to say for sure it's exactly the system as it's written, but I think it's close. But if you have any points where you're like, hearts and souls doesn't make sense here or here, I wish that we had more clarity on that, feel free to highlight that. And that's a thing that I can focus on over the next week to make sure that I tackle it. So you guys will do a round of wishes, and then we will do it in snake order. So whoever went second with wishes will get to go first with stars, and we'll explain stars in just a minute. Laura, what wishes did you have from today's session?
Yeah, so I thought that this was a really good session 0. I thought this was really fun. Character creation was really easy, really quick. Pinterest dives with characters are always fun. Yeah, I think the only place where I was kind of like, was assigning like various and sundry like abilities and stuff, like the might, and like the idea that you could like choose how many dice you get, and that there was kind of no limit on that. I thought that was kind of something I hadn't really seen before, but kind of funky. I like it. But yeah, as far in terms of wishes, just more of the same. I thought that all the descriptions were really great.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I can handle that, but being the child of 2 teachers, like I love constructive feedback as well, but I'll take it. I'll take it. That's good. Thank you very much, Laura. So Sherry, hit us with some wishes.
I'm supposed to be better at this because I've played a ton of games with you, right? But actually, the game kind of did all the things I hoped it would be. The character creation allowed me to create my character, even though it wasn't strictly with what they had laid out there. And I think also Laura's character was a little off kilter from some of the expectations, and yet it still works fine. It seemed to be a come to agreement about how things work. Okay, move forward. If in fact that's the system, works for me. So my wish is that we got that right. How's that?
Yeah.
um, so, yeah, so that it would be that, and that's my only thing is I hope that we got that right, but I because we're going to play that way, I think, and I'm cool with it.
think
But
so.
if someone comes back and goes, you get that all wrong,
To me, like my wish is like I look at all these stats and I know that they're there because in 2006 you had to have that kind of stuff, but like literally you could have 3 stats and then some powers and like this could be the same game. It's like there's a level of granularity here that I think is like expected from the time that the game was developed that isn't exactly like it's not the heart of it. So yeah, my wish is I'll just randomly throw. I wish you guys had rolled poorly. Like, come on. I want to see some monologues. Dang it.
okay, well,
But my wish is I think I need to set higher difficulties, evidently. So
okay,
it's all good.
Untitled.
I'm not actually upset about it. I just really am curious to see how the monologue like feels in game. Cool. So now stars. Stars are positive feedback to your fellow players, highlights of aspects of the system or the story that we told tonight. Sherry, you get to go first.
Yay. I kind of really love this. This is a great little setup. I love the 2 characters. They're super different. Laura's Trixie is super cool, and it's easy to be a fan of it. And I'm looking forward to the dynamics between the 2 of them. And also that we somehow ended up with a They Might Be Giants song as the thing that's pulling this forward is amazing. So
Yep. Thank you, Cherry.
I'm just going to go and listen to it all week. So there you go.
Same. I'm also going to watch the video from the Looney Tunes, the little Looney Tunes, like they did a video of it with Plucky Duck. It's bizarre and hilarious. And they may have also done one on Animaniacs, like that song.
That song is an amazing song. I mean, it's a storied song. So,
Laura, what about you? What stars did you have?
No, I really had fun this evening. I love Marcy. I love the way you play her. She is thoroughly nervous, and I relate to her on so many levels because that was me. That was literally me in high school and middle school. So I love it. And I just love the dynamics between the 2 characters. And then Red, this is great fun. I love all of the descriptions and just how excited you are about it. It's contagious, it really is, and it's just great fun.
Cool. I want to say stars to you, Laura. You were assigned like being the cool, collected, a little bit punk, and you embodied that so very well. I really dug Trixie. She like I see her as the leading woman type character in this comic, and the one that the artist just loves showing her cool lava powers. And the lava powers, like that's so weird. Just crazy. My mind is blown by that. Right, this game cannot hold such creativity, and I'm glad that we had the flexibility. But like, you know what? Let's just make it go with this, and I love it. Sherry. I also had deep heart for Marcy's feeling of inadequacy and the super hard worker that doesn't recognize exactly how successful she is. And of course, you with all of the on point 80s descriptions is super duper fun. So very much looking forward to the second and third sessions of this. Thank you both so much for giving this a shot, and I cannot wait to continue it next week. With that, I will end the live stream.